Mr. Speaker, we have talked about unharvested crops with the Minister for about a month now. We talked about mechanisms laid out in the AFSC regulations that are impeding resolve to this problem. It's now been brought to our attention that adjusters could be weeks away from getting out into fields to complete a pre-harvest assessment. Minister, you had the power under the Act to dismiss an entire board. Do you have the power to override these regulations under these extraordinary circumstances and help these affected farmers to get this pre-harvest requirement done?
Good question. Minister of Agriculture and Forestry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and for the member for the question. Without a doubt, there are some farmers who are still have very concerns with the weather conditions. We're looking for some much warmer, drier conditions this week, Mr. Speaker. I hope yet that those farmers are able to get out in the field. No farmer looks to farm for insurance or they want to farm to put the seed in the ground. I have asked AFSC to streamline a lot of their processes to speed up, and when and if those drying conditions don't improve, that they're able to hit the ground running and be able to make those claims as speedy as possible. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For supplemental.
Given that it was apparent this fall of the possibility that there could be millions of dollars in unharvested crops still lying in the fields come spring, and given that there is a large number of dissatisfied farmers with AFSC progress to date, and given that waiting for warm weather to help the situation out is hardly a viable contingency plan, Minister, why have the adjusters not been allowed to use a triage approach to the problem and determine large areas where there is no question as to crop quality instead of being forced to use the case-by-case, time-consuming status quo?
Good question. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the member for the question. There's 120 inspection staff, all boots in the ground. All of them have been directed to go on those areas that are most badly affected. They have. I'm happy to announce that the Harvard acreage claims are all but complete. Those inspectors now will focus on wildlife and pre-harvest inspections, Mr. Speaker. I'm very proud of the work the AFSC is doing right across the province, especially in those areas, and continue to do so. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Second supplemental.
Given that waiting for good weather is not an appropriate contingency plan, and given that every day that goes by shortens the growing season and yield potential of the 2017 crop, Minister, despite your talk last week about streamlining the policies for inspections, there have been complaints of little to no communication to farmers or AFSC offices beyond web updates. Can you answer this question that I'm getting from farmers? Where is the communication failure here between AFSC and farmers, and who's going to fix it?
Better question. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the member for the question. If he has incidences of communication breakdown, very specific interests, I'm more than happy to address those. As such, AFSC has been directed to tweak the programs to make it. As an example, Mr. Speaker, inspectors are cut by half the number of inspections they have to do for wildlife and pre-harvest inspections. Mr. Speaker, AFSC is doing a good job. Proud of the work they're doing. Thank you.